simple question. I recently viewed one of your videos on loaded carries from 4 years ago. In it, you said that you should not do double kettlebell overhead position loaded carries. I was curious about the reason. Any insights would be appreciated. Wasn't that interesting? I thought I imagine I would explain it. I have a DVD, gosh, I'm sure you can get it on Target Publishing still, but it's called Everything's Over My Head. And that and the loaded carry one called Carried Away. Have a couple of loaded carry ideas. I always believed if the single best overhead loaded carry is the waiter walk. The single best overall carry, I think, is the suitcase carry. But once you move to doubles, if anything bad happens, and I want you to just I have in front of me 2 cups of coffee. Just stumble with 2 cups of coffee with your arms locked out overhead and just tell me what happens. And now imagine you got 28 kilo bells coming down on your skull. I like barbell carries overhead. We have a combination called Strongman Carries where there's 2 ways you can do it. You can walk with the bar in the rack position, stop every so often, either where a cone is or when the coach says, lift. And then you either do a push jerk or a military press, whatever you can do, bring it back down to the rack and walk again. I'll say lift, you push jerk, you bring it down, you walk. And the other variation is using the barbell, both hands overhead, you walk, and then every so often you bring it down, push jerk it back up, and you walk with the load over your head. Now, if something bad happens with the barbell, and when you step away, you only have to avoid one object. With double kettlebells, you have to avoid 2 objects. I've never had an injury doing double overhead work. I've never had that. But when I do certifications or when I see people trying them in gyms, very often when people add a little bit of ballistic to those double overhead movements, you can see that the person's coordination or their core strength, which I always jokingly call anaconda strength, or their technical proficiency just doesn't work out. And they'll get an uneven lockout, which means, one side locks out perfectly and the other one stops and presses out, or stops and they lean into it. And if you have a fatigued person, and loaded carries get you fatigued, and they have an uneven finish, the bells are going to come down. Even if it's to protect the gym floor, or even if it's protect the sidewalk in front of the house, or even if it's to protect your kettlebells long term. Because breaking a kettlebell, and it's only happened to me one time in my career, because the athlete was screwing around, but I have a different word for what he actually did. He was, not screwing around, but the other word. And I'm still mad because it almost looked like it was done on purpose. And that's the only kettlebell I've ever had broken. And it's hard to break kettlebells, but if you drop them from the overhead position to cement or asphalt, there's a good chance something's going to happen if you keep doing that over and over. So that's why, okay? I don't necessarily dislike any exercise, but sometimes, Josh, when you've been around, and hopefully you'll be around long enough, when you watch people at a gym or you watch people even at a weightlifting meet, and you watch the mistakes people make under stress, you begin to get a little bit more hesitant about recommending them with the sweep of the hand, everybody. I'm certainly not, a crazy safety crazy. I mean, I believe safety equals performance and performance equals safety. In other words, the better you are at something, the safer you are. The best discus throwers in the world probably aren't going to need a cage until they have that one bad throw, and then we all need that cage. The best hammer throwers probably don't need a cage unless they have that one bad throw, and then we all need that cage. So when I look at exercises, sometimes, Josh, I just kind of go, for the broad sweep of the population, that's probably not something we need. You'll notice that certain kettlebell exercises, and I'm just moving to that. The bent press, a great exercise I teach you at certs, But all you need to do is just look at the way a normal person moves, and you can realize that even though the bench press might be a good goal for them, they have a lot of small steps in between. The windmill, great exercise, but you watch most people how they move, and there's a few steps before they should do it. With the double overhead carry, again, probably you and I could probably do it okay without a problem. When I get in trouble, I have the worldview that it's okay to stop. No one cares, bring the weights down, put them to the ground, and fight on another day. A lot of people, they'll try to impress you and fight, even though their shoulders and their elbows are giving out, and that's when the danger really ramps up. Thank you, Josh. It's a question, and I hope the answer, those of you who are trainers and coaches, I'd hope you'd think about every exercise you coach and preach and teach, and think about is this for everybody? Stu McGill's got that great idea where you have an exercise in your workout plan. Here's the name of the exercise. Here's the reps, the sets, the load, maybe the rest period, and in a final column, why is it in there? And if you don't have a good reason why an exercise is in there and your client or yourself gets hurt, I don't know if that was a win-win situation. Thank you.